Hello Leute, welcome to today's lection, and today we shall be looking at Lektion 30, whereby we shall be looking at dative, that is dative case. And I'll start by saying that in our previous two lessons, we started by looking at nominative, then after nominative we looked at accusative, and today we shall be learning about the dative case in German, and dative case in German, that is dative. And the first question which we need to ask ourselves is, was ist Dativ? Was ist Dativ? What is dative case? The dative is used for the indirect object of a sentence. The dative is used for the indirect object of a sentence, unlike the accusative, which is used for the direct object. So for dative is the indirect object, and for accusative is the direct object. The indirect object is usually the person or a thing that receives something, benefits from action, or to whom something is given, shown, explained, or said. The indirect object is usually the person or a thing that receives something, benefits from an action, or to whom something is given, shown, explained, or said. The dative answers the question when, which means to whom, and für wen, which means for whom. So the dative answers the question wem, to whom, or für wen, which means for whom. Preposition and mit dative, that is preposition that always take the dative case. Just like in accusative, there are also preposition that always take the dative case. We have mit, which means with. Also we have aus, which means from or out of, by, which means at or with, von, which means from or by. We have zu, which means to, seit, which means since or for. Then we have nach, which means to or after. We have ab, which means from starting point or starting from. We have gegenüber, which means opposite. Verben mit dative, verbs that take the dative case. The following verbs requires a dative object. We have helfen, which means to help. We have danken, which means to thank. We have gehören, which means to belong to. We have antworten, which means to answer. We have gefallen, which means to please or to be pleasing to. We have passen, which means to fit or to all suit. We have raten, which means to advise. Then we have schaden, which means to harm. We have schmecken, which means to taste. We have gratulieren, which means to congratulate. We have fahren, which means to be missing. Glauben, to believe. Then we have, after glauben, we have vertrauen, which means to trust. So those are some of the verbs that requires that go hand in hand with dative case. Bestimmte Artikel, that is the definite articles. We are going to look them both in nominative, accusative, and in dative cases. So in masculine, der it's in nominative, then der changes to den in accusative, then dem in dative. Feminine, D is in nominative, then D in accusative, and also der in dative. In neutrum, das in nominative, das in accusative, dem in dative. Then in plural, D in nominative, D in accusative, and den in dative. As you can see, in dative, dem, and we also have dem in neutral and masculine. So in masculine and neutrum we have dem. So those are the same. Then in feminine we have der, and in plural we have den. So that is bestimmte Artikel. Then let us look at unbestimmte Artikel, whereby still we will be looking at nominative, accusative, and dative. So in masculine we have ein, that is in nominative. Then ein changes to einen, that is in accusative. Then it changes to einem, that is in dative. Then feminine, we have eine, then we have eine, then we have einea. Then neutrum, we have ein, einem. Then obvious in plural, we don't have anything when it comes to unbestimmter article. So in dative, so we have einem in masculine, then we have einea in feminine, and einem in neutral. In plural, we don't have any. Negative article, so still we have nominative, accusative on dative. In masculine, kind in nominative, then kind becomes keine in accusative, then keinen becomes keinen in dative. So we have keinem in dative. Then in feminine we have keine, keine and keinea. So in dative we have keinea. Then in neutrum we have kein, keinem. So in dative we have keinem. Then in plural we have keine, keinen. So in dative, in masculine we have keinem, which is the same as in neutral where we have keinem. In feminine we have keinea, and in plural we have keinen. Possessive article in dative, so still we have masculine, feminine, neutrum and plural. We have ish. In masculine we have meinem, then we have in feminine meinea, in neutrum we have meinem, and in plural we have meinen. Do, we have deinem, deinea, deinem, deinen. Then in air we have seinem, seinea, seinem, seinen. In z we have irem, we have irea, we have irem, we have iren. Then when it comes to s, we have seinem, seinea, seinem, seinen. Then when we come to via, which is we have unserem, unserea, unserem, we have unzeren. Then when you come to ear, we have oirem, oirea, oirem, oiren. Then when it comes to z, we have irem, iria, irem, iren. Then when it comes to z, we have irem, iria, irem, iren. So those are possessive article in dative case. Personal pronomen in nominative, accusative and dative. Ish become mish, mia. Do become dish, dear. Air becomes in, im. Z becomes z, z, ear. Then we have s, im. Then we have via, we have uns, uns. Then we have ear, we have oish, oish. Then we have z, inen. Then the last one is also z, we have z, inen. So those are personal pronomen in dative case. Beispiele im Satz, example in sentences. Er schenkt seiner Freundin einen Brief. Er schenkt seiner Freundin einen Brief. Seiner Freundin is our dative. Beispiel Nummer 2. Ich kaufe meiner Frau einen Ring. Ich kaufe meiner Frau einen Ring. Meiner Frau is our dative. Beispiel Nummer 3. Er kauft seinem Sohn einen Ball. Er kauft seinem Sohn einen Ball. Seinem Sohn is our dative. Beispiel Nummer 4. Sie sprechen mit ihrem Lehrer. Sie sprechen mit ihrem Lehrer. So mit ihrem Lehrer, that is our dative because of the preposition mit. Remember mit goes with dative. Then Beispiel Nummer 5. Kaufst du deinem Vater ein Auto? Kaufst du deinem Vater ein Auto? Deinem Vater is our dative. Having looked at the Beispiele, that mark the end of today's lesson, and also that mark the end of the cases. Remember, we started with nominative case, then we went ahead and looked at accusative case, and we have finished our cases we having looked at dative case. And cases, they are so important when it comes to German language. So it's up to you. You you look up to them, you practice on the same. So you can start with my first video on nominative, then you go ahead and look at accusative, then you finish with dative case. So that marks the end of today's lesson, and that's all on cases. And yeah, that's all. And I've covered everything. So you having gone through a nominative case and accusative case and dative case, that's all you need to learn about cases, and you're good to go. Now that's all. Let us meet in our next lesson. Tschüss, bis bald, bis morgen.